All right, Martin Popoff here for the Contrarians. Welcome back to another edition of Reliving Old Reviews is a useless tool of confusion. This is a short one for you, so we'll be quick with this. You can get back to your day. This is from Disc Magazine, June 10th, 1972, reviewed by the Disc panel, so they don't tell you who's writing these reviews. But it's a review of UFO Flying. Remember the notorious second UFO album, 1 hour of space rock. Let's see what they have to say here. Their second album, they're apparently going down a storm on the continent, but have yet to break here. It's doubtful whether this album's going to do it, for despite effective use of sound effects, phasing, echo, etc., they've nothing original to offer musically. For the bulk of Flying is based around usual Sabbathy, repetitious bass and drum riffs and screeching guitar work. However, if you aren't tired of this sound, it's probably an album worth having. Starstorm sounds nice on a good stereo with its beautiful phasing and echoing guitar licks, as does the title track Flying, which occupies the majority of the second side and embodies all manner of sound warping and aural distortion. So a couple of funny things here. Yes, UFO, they're doing better with their, they're on Beacon in the UK and they're on Nova on the continent, and they are doing pretty good in the continent. And bizarrely, they get a Japanese tour early on. But this is the Mick Bolton version of the band. They sound like a demo version of Free, who sound like a demo version of Bad Company. And here they are with their second album. I think it's funny saying that this sounds good, like a good high audio. It's not a good high audio, high fidelity audio record. It's kind of distorted and it's kind of missing high end. It's just not very good sounding, right? The bass is buzzy on this album, but it's interesting that it's compared to Black Sabbath. And if you're tired of this sound, like heavy metal is still new, but apparently we're supposed to be tiring of heavy metal by this point already, which is kind of weird. And it really doesn't sound particularly Sabbathy. Like I say, it sounds more like blues rock, like bad demo Free kind of music. But yeah, it's an interesting review. It doesn't really pan it completely. Oddly, it seems to have patience. Right? Patience for these long, boring songs. It doesn't really come out and say, man, this is a long, boring album, which it kind of is. So that's interesting. But yeah, Starstorm sounds nice on a good stereo with the beautiful phasing and echoing guitar licks. There's really not much of great audio innovation or anything going on in this album. But what do you expect? I mean, it is 1972. It's, there's not a lot to compare at this point, but I thought that was kind of interesting. So there you go. There's another edition of Reliving Old Reviews is a useless tool of confusion.